Hi, I'm Nicole Lee with Health, Beauty, and More. And I just wanted to summarize a little about the California wildfires. Um, Days before the wildfires started, uh, there were red flag warnings throughout much of Northern California, and the conditions were expected to become extremely volatile, and the winds were expected to be gusting up to 25 and 35 miles an hour, and some areas even higher than that. And that's from the north to the south. So we're talking about the whole state because it wasn't just Northern California, although that's where most of them were and still are burning. But by October 8th, they they had the winds were expecting the gust, and they did. They went up to like 70 miles an hour, and that's in called Diablo Winds, and that affected a lot of people, and more fires started breaking out. It had quite an impact, I would say. Um, there was this is like the probably the worst fires we've had in the history of California. Really, there were so many of them, and most of them, I think about 80% of them are contained at this point, but I did not keep up with the news about there being so many. I knew there were quite a few, but I didn't realize. This is October, and people don't always realize it, but we do in California consider it fire season, even in October. And we've really had major heat waves throughout the state as well. Even where I live, which is normally a very cool, moderate climate, and it's right by the Pacific Ocean, it's been on almost, let's say, even indoors. Some places, like where I was today, they said it got up to high 80s inside, and we don't expect that, so we don't have air conditioning. We just have to put a fan on, whether it's a portable one or not. It's all we have, really, because it's hardly ever been this hot. Some of the names of these wildfires that started after the 8th of October 2017, Napa, the Lake, the Sonoma, the Mendocino, Butte, and Solano counties. They had those are the ones called where they had like the Tubbs fire, which became the most destructive wildfire in the history of California. Then also there's the Nuns fire and the Atlas fire, and then a bunch of others. Acres and acres were affected, and I think the death toll was about 42 at that point, which is unheard of. And evacuations, thousands and thousands of people had to leave. It had quite an impact. So it's Jerry Brown, the governor, considers that a state of emergency for Napa, Sonoma, Yuba, Butte, Lake, Mendocino, Nevada, and Orange counties. So he sent this letter to the White House requesting a major disaster declaration, and then President Trump approved the disaster declaration on the 9th or 10th, actually, of October. More than 10,000 firefighters have been battling this blaze, and they use more than 1,000 fire engines and other equipment, with the crews arriving as far away as Canada and Australia, which is kind of cool, huh? And it also pollutes the air, so that's another problem. And if you have a health problem with like COPD or any kind of problem that affects your breathing, then that would affect your health and cause major problems. So I see there's some of these fires are only 91 to 95% contained, but 4 are definitely contained, and that would include the Cascade, the Cherokee, the La Porte fire. 2 of them are in Butte County, California. Another one in Yuba, and then there's one that's in Sonoma County, and that's pretty much contained as well. So that does it for summarizing the situation in California with the wildfires. It's just horrendous. But I'd like to hear your response on that. And has it affected you? And if you have any comments, please provide them. Glad to read them. Thanks for listening. Nicole, Health, Beauty, and more. Take care of yourself.